Hi, I'm Jennifer Melton. I'm a 1L from Lake Forest, California, and joining me is
I am Will Zlayton. I am a 1L from Corpus Christi, Texas.
okay, Wills. Do you want to kind of walk us through some of the general housing options that are around the law school here in the Twin Cities?
Sure. So, being that I'm from Texas and not that familiar from the area with the area, I learned what a couple of the regions were. So first, I'm going to talk about Dinkytown, which is super undergrad focused. There are a lot of bars and restaurants, and it's super close to the undergrad campus. So if you want to be somewhere that's kind of 24/7, there's always something to do, and it's a very active area. Dinkytown's good. Uptown is more, young professionals who are settling into their working life. It's a little bit like suburban light.
Hmm.
If that's the vibe you're going for, that's probably a good place for you. There's
Still, Uptown still has great public transportation access, and there's a lot of lakes in that general area, and there's like more upscale restaurants. So if you want the $15 vegan sandwich, that's available in Uptown.
well, and also what's so nice about being in Minneapolis is public transportation is great. We have the Trans
Yes.
Metro system that isn't that expensive. I know students
Mm-mm.
can buy a pass for the entire year or semester. So really, wherever you live, you're not going to have trouble getting from A to B.
Yes.
Another place you could live is in the suburbs. You could even live in St. Paul if you wanted to. There's just a little bit more of a commute, uh, more houses instead of apartments, that kind of thing. So if you don't mind driving in, it's nice to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. I live in downtown, and I decided on that just because I knew I wanted to be somewhere that was active, where I could get to do a lot of things. This was before COVID really got in the swing, when there were things to do. But I look forward to doing things when you can do things. My apartment, Oxop, is about a 6-minute walk from the law school. I knew I wanted to stay close, especially because it gets pretty chilly in Minneapolis. And I knew that I didn't want to walk more than 10 minutes. So that's how I chose where I'm staying.
Mhm. I had some of the same reasoning as you. I live in Seven Corners, which is about a 4-minute walk from the law school. And I wanted to be within walking distance because moving from Southern California, I knew my car would not be able to handle actual winter, and I didn't want to have to buy new tires and all of that before I got adjusted to winter in the first place. And I did not want to pay to park my car that I was very rarely going to use. So the good thing about being right next to the law school, there's multiple bus stops. There's the metro line, and from the law school to downtown and even over to uptown is pretty flat. So you can easily ride your bike and go 4 or 5 miles because it's decently flat. So I wanted to make sure I was within walking distance and using public transportation, going green, saving as much money as possible. So
And
that's what I did. Yeah.
sorry, just to add on, the city is incredibly walkable when the
Hmm.
temperature is permitting. Like right now, it's in the 30s. Next week, it's going to be in the low single digits. So I'm not going to go for a walk right now. But when I first got here in August, July, it was great to get my bearings and just walk around my apartment, walk to the law school. So it's super walkable too. And that goes to, you mentioned it being flat. It's same
Hmm.
rate, easy to walk.
Yeah. And even in the winter, like it was snowing a few weekends ago when I went to go get groceries, and they do a really good job of at least clearing a walkable path on the sidewalks. So the city does a really good job of coming and sweeping and shoveling the snow. So if you are brave enough to go outside when it's cold, if you can safely do that if you choose to. So yeah, Wills, was there something you decided to not move or to make sure that you moved from your hometown when you came up to Minnesota?
So something I decided that I needed to have, because I wanted my car here, just because I like going to get groceries. It's not absolutely necessary to have a car here. I decided I wanted one, and also I brought my cat, who's sitting right in front of me right now, but is off camera. So I knew how important having that emotional support was going to be, and cats are very low maintenance, so I knew it would work with the time constraints of law school. So that's something that I knew I really wanted to move up here. So
Hmm. And I, as an older non-traditional student who has worked for quite a bit, I wanted to make sure I had my own furniture. So some of the apartments around here are geared more towards undergrads or people moving internationally, and they provide your furniture. And I had invested in pieces and collected things that I really liked. So I wanted to make sure that my house, when I moved straight away, felt like home. So I intentionally chose a place that I could move my bed, move my armoire, move all those things I had collected. So that's also something to keep in mind. If you don't own things, there are multiple options. in Dinkytown and even in the Seven Corners area that provide you the furniture. And if you want to make your house feel like what you had in your hometown, you can also do that. Okay, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.